We're continuing with the Sarah Boone interrogation.
Okay.
What's your reasoning for not calling 911 sooner?
Because I didn't know what to do and how horrific it was. I called Brian, and 5 minutes later I called you guys? Not even 5 minutes. Nonetheless, that I had to I was trying to do CPR. I had to get him out and try to do CPR, and then called you guys.
She said, nonetheless, I had to try to do CPR. And then she said, I was trying to do CPR. You know, I don't think she did it. It was the guy on 911 telling her she had to do it. So that's an interesting choice of words.
Guys. And they was continually doing CPR with the dispatch on the phone, where he had me count out loud to help me focus on what I was doing.
It just, I don't know how, I mean, you can sit here all day long and say, I thought he was going to get himself out, but he didn't, and you went upstairs, and you stayed there for 30 minutes before you fell asleep.
But can I say, too,
You chose not to ever at any point during that 30 minutes walk back down and check on him.
No, wait 1 second. Because I know, with you all, and then, because you continually ask me, time frames, where I told you, I don't bother even looking at the clock most of the time. So it's a guesstimate. So for all I know, maybe it was 10 minutes.
Okay. But the point is, you left the living room where he was.
It doesn't matter. I mean, she's not going to tell us anyway. And her story changes to whatever benefits her, to whatever proves the point she's making in the moment, and only in the moment. That officer's on her phone a lot, and I'm trying to figure out if that's a kind of a tactic, I'm not really believing you, so I'm not going to listen to what you're saying, because her partner's in the room. So it's not like he's texting her from another room to tell her, hey, ask this, ask that. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe she's just texting.
Begging for help and went upstairs. Regardless of how long you were there, you left. You say,
I thought he was the boy calling wolf. Again.
Okay.
So when he asked to be let out, what's your reasoning for not letting him out?
When I was upstairs?
No, when he's asking on the video, he asked multiple times. He asked to be let out. I can't breathe. Why didn't you let him out?
Well, number one, I had no idea it was going to end like that.
Okay.
Number one.
Okay.
Number two, just, you know what? I'll give you 5 minutes or so in there. They'll give you 5 minutes or so.
Whoa. She's punishing him. It's like sending a kid to the corner. Just you go in the corner, I'll just give you 5 minutes. And you notice, I know other people notice this too. She turns him into like a child. She treats him like he's 4. And that's a way for her to, in the guise of helping, to subtly demean him and to make herself superior. And this, I'll just leave you for 5 minutes. That's punishment. She's punishing him. And I will repeat over and over and over. The second he said, I want out. I don't want to be here anymore. That is the second that she should have let him out. And anything beyond that is abusive and criminal. 1 minute. Doesn't matter that she went upstairs or if she was standing there. He said he wanted out. And we talk about consent and no means no and all of that. Well, it applies here. You don't take away somebody's autonomy. You don't decide that they need to be punished.
Well, based off the video, one video is at 11:12 and the next one's at 11:23, so you actually gave him at least 11 minutes per video recording. So my thing is, when it stopped, he asked multiple times, I mean, why? Why did you not let him out? It's just a simple question.
To be honest with you, I mean,
Don't
Were you
know.
punishing him?
no, just,
Well, that's what you're saying in the
No.
video.
This is what you get, this is
Yep.
what you make me feel like.
see, and then it's all backfired on me. Like, it's all backfired on me. And I understand the severity of this. I just,
Yeah, he's dead.
It backfired on her. I suggest that the one who suffered was Mr. Torres. She's talking about her. Timestamp on the video, on the suitcase video, is 11:12 p.m. Then again at 11:23 p.m. So I don't think that anybody believes she let him out and then put him back in, right? So at least that long. So this was a prolonged event. At 11:46 p.m., she is upstairs, and we think she's upstairs, but she calls Brian and wakes him up. She says earlier that she went up to bed. So that's a decision. 12:30. And she's saying here, well, you can't really rely on me when I give you a time frame. So if all we do is take the time frames that for which we have actual evidence, 11:46, 11:12, he's already in the suitcase and has been there long enough that he's saying he can't breathe. He needs out. 11:12, 11:46, she is calling Brian. He's still in the suitcase. So she was awake. It's not like she went to sleep at, 11:15.
it's awful, I know.
Okay.
It's awful. And I will tell you both this right now, too. I will never drink alcohol again.
Okay.
Like, I will never drink alcohol again. I don't care what it is in any way,
Yeah, they don't have alcohol at jail.
shape, or form. I am,
But let's get back to this. What was the reason for leaving him when he's begging to be let out? I don't understand that.
what I have a feeling was, and again, it's the whole time frame thing. You all keep
I'm
asking.
not asking a time frame. I don't care about a time frame. He's
So-
in the
What I have a feeling was, I know that some of you think, oh, well, she was blacked out drunk and doesn't remember, except there is a lot that she describes. In fact, she describes almost everything. And the things she doesn't describe are really important facts that would incriminate her, that she skips over, like so many other offenders skip over. If it's not an excuse for anybody else, it's not an excuse for her. You cannot describe something you don't remember. So now she's saying, I feel like, when he's asking about why. So it's not what you did or what happened, it's why. And she can't justify it out loud. Obviously, she justified it in her head that she was going to punish him, but she can't actually say that.
bag saying,
My God.
and you say, F you.
When he, so, like, for, like, the whole few minutes that he was in there, like,
Minimum 11, but yes, go ahead.
So first she's talking in incomplete sentences. So she's thrown off her game and she's doing this, you guys, and she does this a lot where she says, well, you're making it this and stop. And that's all about, look, I want you to accept what I say, regardless of whether it makes sense. And few minutes? Talk about minimization. And the detective says, oh, it was at least so many minutes. No, 11:12 must have been a few minutes already because he's begging to get out. So it's not from 11:12 to 11:23. It's 11:12 to 11:46 while she is still awake, still making decisions, not sleeping, not passed out. 11:46, she made that phone call. So 11:12, at least that early. So that's not a few minutes.
It's a few. 11 minutes.
For the one video.
Well, in between the two.
Do you see that? Is she going to start saying whatever? It's dismissive. It's not, I don't know. She's being told the facts. It's indisputable that it's more than a few minutes. So that's not an I don't know. That's total minimization.
Two videos. It's
Between the two
11
videos?
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the question again?
When he's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe, let me out, and you say, fuck you, why don't you just let him out? What are you trying to prove to him? There was obviously something in your head that you were thinking of when he was asking to be let out, and you're like, no,
Again, it's the
no.
boy calling wolf.
Okay, but where does this game end? You say this is a...
Nobody has the right to decide to take away somebody's autonomy. Nobody has the right to decide whether to hold that kind of power over another human being and disregard what they're saying. Mr. Torres knew how he felt and what he needed. It's not up to her to decide whether he's crying wolf or not. Imagine if we all could just do that. I mean, people, her attitude just is unbelievable. Unbelievable. She is so entitled and she thinks she's so superior. She's gaslit herself.
The game, you got somebody in
Obviously,
there.
like the wrong way.
So what was your intention for leaving him in there?
And it's not fair. It is not fair. You guys are trying to, again, he's in there. Night, night.
That's what happened.
No.
That's absolutely what happened.
Intentionally.
It's not fair. Really? So now she's blaming the police for how they're characterizing it. And she uses a tactic here. She tells them what they're saying, but she mischaracterizes it on purpose. They are giving her the facts. 11:12, 11:23. She walked up the stairs under her own steam. He's begging to get out. And so she's mischaracterizing this, blaming the police now for, you're saying I just put him in there and went night, night. Well, in essence, eventually that's what she did. The characterization, the reality is much worse. The reality is, I'm repeating myself, he begged for his life and she wanted to punish him. And now she doesn't want to be accountable for the consequences. And it's not fair to her. I wonder how Mr. Torres' family feels.
How's it not? You got up off the couch, walked up a flight of stairs, and got in your bed.
thinking he was going to get out.
And he didn't, and you still didn't go down and
And
check
it's
on
the
him.
whole 30-minute thing that you guys are trying
I
to
don't
do,
care about 30
whatever.
minutes.
But for all I know, it's 10
He's begging for
minutes.
his life. He's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't. I didn't intentionally mean for this to happen.
But you
Then what
can't
did you
tell us
intend?
why you left him in there and went upstairs. That's my only issue. Like, what am I supposed to write? What do I write?
So my thing is, though, it's what I have a feeling is I went upstairs and just hit the bed kind of thing. But, again, I'm thinking, he'll be up here any minute. But then I
have a feeling. So, you know what? This isn't a lack of memory because of what she says next. I have a feeling is her trying to come up with an explanation, right? She decided, she said, I want to make him squirm. She said, I'll just leave him there for 5 minutes. On the video she took, she's demeaning him and saying, yeah, well, this is how it feels. And it's clear that she is punishing him. She is taking revenge. When she says, oh, I feel like it was that I went upstairs, then she says, I thought, not maybe I thought, well, he'll be up here. Well, you can't describe something that you don't remember, right? If she blacked out, if she had no memory, she'd be sitting there saying, oh my God, I had no idea. I don't remember, right? That's not what she's saying. She's trying to make sure that the word unintentional gets repeated, that they hear that, but she's failing to account for all of the intentional things she did before she closed her eyes.
go out.
But my question is, why didn't you just let him out prior to going up?
I don't know why.
He's begging to be let out. He's not laughing. He's not having fun.
Right,
You said
I know. I don't
this
know.
was supposed to be fun. You were laughing before. Before you said he was laughing, you were laughing, you went upstairs, he had his fingers out of the bag and he was playing. Well, obviously that's not the case.
So are you guys, so what is it you're trying to, like,
We're just trying to figure out why.
why? What?
Why?
What was the motivation for leaving him in the bag?
Why he was left in the bag? Why the video?
I didn't have any motivation. It was he and I having a great day, fooling around and being stupid, and apparently me going upstairs and hitting the bed, not going to sleep, where it's like, I'm tired now, I'm going to go to sleep.
That's excluding, it's a good analogy for the day, excluding the fact that he's got a bump on the back of his head, a bump on the front of his head, and his lip is busted, and he has a
Oh
bump
my
on his eye.
I don't know what you all want me to tell you. Like, this is not fair at all,
Yes.
that you all are assuming that that's from me.
Where else did it come?
She knows the injuries had to have been there the day before and not prior. In any case, they were there the day or the night before. So if she'd seen those injuries, if she knew what they were, she could have simply told the detectives, and that would have been that. And by the way, they're not actually accusing her at this point of causing those injuries. They're asking the question, which is their job. How did this happen? There's this evidence here that isn't fitting with your story. So make it make sense, please. And she doesn't want to. So it's not fair. If he received those injuries in some other manner, she simply would have said so, and this wouldn't be an issue. But again, she's not saying.
If you were, say it's opposite, you were in the suitcase and you're asking to be let out, would you hope that that person would let you out? Like, you're asking to be let out of a suitcase, should they not let you out?
Eventually. I'm guessing. I mean, I'm blaming it on the wine.
Blaming it on the wine.
So you guys are like a...
She's been going on and on and on that they're not drunk. She even said, I can't get drunk. I have things to do. I have to take care of my son. And the next day was her day to pick up her son, right? And according to her, she's an excellent mother. Anyway, when she wants to get out of trouble or get out of taking responsibility, it's the alcohol. But at the same time, she has to deny that she has any problem with alcohol. She has to deny that she was drunk. She even talked about that she was mentally aware and with it. So when she wants to sound like a good person in her mind, there is no problem with alcohol. But if she's going to be in trouble, well, then it's the alcohol's fault.
assuming that,
You keep saying we're assuming, well, we're not, we
We're
haven't assumed
asking you
anything.
questions.
but you guys are assuming that that's what I did.
No, by what...
Like this,
She says, you guys are assuming, and the detective says, actually, we're not. We're asking questions. And Sarah completely ignores that and continues on with what she's saying. You guys are assuming. So she's just not going to actually respond.
The facts of what happened, we got there, you said you pulled him out of a suitcase, you said you went up, you went to bed. We're not assuming that. These are the facts that you're telling us.
but
Now
what
we're
you said
asking
is
you
like,
to
oh, I'm
explain them.
tired. Oh, I'm tired.
Well, that's what you told me on a sworn recorded statement yesterday, because when I said, oh, you went upstairs and passed out, you were like, no, I did not pass out. You got attitude with me because you were you
Yep.
thought I was assuming that you were drunk. So that's an assumption. That was an assumption when I said
Yeah.
you passed out. And guess what? You corrected me.
You were very adamant about the fact that both of you had your wits about you. What's your favorite word to use?
Compass mentis.
You've used it today, too, to say that you guys were within your wits. There's two empty bottles of wine.
No, but we can drink both of them.
On the one hand, she has to make sure, she says, it's not intentional. But she's saying that she had her wits. I wonder, there's a part of me that thinks she knows darn well that the mental element of a crime is important. It's important to prove that in court. So she's going to keep saying unintentional, but then she just ruins that argument right here. Guys, this is why lawyers tell people to just shut up. Just be quiet.
I think you did.
We didn't.
There's receipts for the
They were
statement
both
back then.
purchased yesterday, so I don't know how you didn't, because they weren't there the day before.
The one
There's two
was.
Publix receipts from yesterday.
Mhm.
Only thing purchased on either one was a single bottle of wine, two of them. So we have each bottle of wine that was empty in your garbage can that you purchased yesterday, or he purchased, but you two would have consumed together.
Okay, well,
I mean, there's receipts, so it's not even worth the going back.
so this is, so I don't know what you guys are, I don't know.
We were just hoping that we could figure out why you,
What was the motivation?
There was no motivation.
well,
Well, we're watching a video that, after talking to you, everything was laughing and fun. Now we're watching a video where it's not laughing and fun. He's begging for his life, and you are in a very angry voice telling him to f*** off.
No.
Yes,
It's not.
that's absolutely what it was. It's not an assumption. The video's there. We played it for you.
He describes what she did, what they know for sure she did. No, I mean, the evidence is there. I think when she says unintentional, I think she means she didn't intend the consequence. Having said that, she understood that that consequence was a possibility. We know that. That's been established. When she says No. I think she's just protecting her own, in her own mind, her own image of herself. She doesn't want to be seen as an abuser because he's supposed to be the abuser. People think of this in black and white. You're the good guy, or you're the bad guy, and I'm the good guy. And it's just black and white. But life isn't like that.
So you guys think that I intentionally...
You did.
It
You got up
doesn't matter
off the couch
it doesn't
and
matter
walked
what
up
we
the couch,
think.
or walked up the stairs and got into bed. That was intentional. There's no way getting around that. You intentionally did that. Nobody drug you up there. You didn't float up the damn stairs.
Okay, well, it's not fair. It's not fair that you guys keep trying to say that that's what I did.
It's not fair that you keep saying that that's what I did, even though all the evidence says that clearly. But it's not fair. It is not fair that I might have to actually be accountable for what I did. It's not fair that you don't ignore the facts that are inconvenient to me. Come on. And I'm with him. She didn't float up the stairs. That was good.
I don't know what to tell you.
You told us that. You didn't go upstairs?
Again, there was a hole in a suitcase. I unzipped it from the hole with one finger.
Well, the damn hole didn't do him no good, did it?
But he could push it open.
No, he
Did he?
couldn't.
I,
The video
No.
shows him pushing up.
And
If he could push it open, why wouldn't he have gotten out himself? Why would he beg you to open it?
I tell
okay,
you, he can't breathe.
okay.
If
I-
someone
I-
can do something for themselves, they're going to do it. They don't need assistance, unless they need assistance.
So, but why would he start doing it?
Because he couldn't, because it was all the way zipped.
Okay.
Didn't see it.
It wasn't.
Don't look at the evidence. Just believe me. You've heard that before, right? You've seen it in case after case, right?
I intentionally didn't do it. That I intentionally did not do.
What's that? You didn't intentionally do what?
Zip it all the way. He nor I,
Well, he's dead as a
lay
result of your
hands
action.
on each other.
He is dead as a result of
I
your
understand
action.
that. That's why
You
this...
two didn't lay hands on each other.
No. No. I don't have anything.
You're right.
He doesn't. Whatever that is, whatever it
He
is.
does.
See, this is what happens. It's not fair that you guys, just because he has those, automatically blame it on me. Like,
Well,
Where else
what
did he
about
get
when
them?
you had your injuries and he gets arrested? Is that not fair?
really? Like,
It's
really?
the exact
Yes.
same thing.
Really?
He has injuries. You have injuries. Like, what does that mean?
I don't have any injuries.
Correct.
Because
So
he
nothing
and I
happened to
have
you.
not been at it with one another.
Sarah didn't address the fact that, hey, when she claims that he hit her and she has injuries, so evidence that the police arrest him, and she expects that, and she should expect that she's going to receive help when that happens. She's pointing, the officer's pointing out, hey, you know, why do you think the rule doesn't go both ways? And she says, oh, really? Really? And she just skips right over that and goes back to her defense. It's not fair.
So every time that you guys fight, you both hit each other? So you should have probably
No.
gone to jail all those times that he went to jail
No.
for domestic?
Well, the one time I did. But he completely trashed the police report. Because that's nothing what happened. Because the reason why I got taken in was because my story was different than his. So I'm being portrayed as like this abuser.
You don't get arrested because you have a different story from somebody else. You get arrested because there's some sort of evidence. I think she's referring to the time she was choking him and he kicked her off, and that was self-defense on his part.
Abuser.
We're not saying that he doesn't abuse you.
Absolutely.
We're not saying.
So I'm the one that's being portrayed as the abuser.
Because he.
But she is an abuser, and we know that. She wants it to be seen as black and white. One is the abuser, and one is the victim. The abuser is bad, the victim is good. But the reality is that a person can be both.
I have never dealt with anything like this before. I don't know what to do, how to do it, and I always know what to do and how to do it.
No, you don't.
This, I don't know. So I don't know, like, what's going on or, like...
We are simply trying to find out as well. Again, we got one side of the story. You're telling us we're going with what you're saying, but then we find stuff that negates what you're telling us.
And I don't even remember doing that.
Okay. You're telling us that we're assuming stuff, but what we're simply doing is telling you what we saw in the video and
I
repeating what
understand.
you told us.
I understand. Because I don't remember that.
Okay. Doesn't mean it didn't happen just because you don't remember it.
So is the texting thing something about me? Like, what's...
The what? Texting? Oh, no, I'm texting.
There's an old song called You're So Vain. And it's, you're so vain, I bet you think this song is about you. I don't know why she was texting. Sarah obviously thinks it has something to do with her, and it's made her nervous. I think she's wanting to know what is going on in the detective's mind, what other information they might have, what is going to happen, so she can figure out how to maneuver and what she needs to do.
No,
You guys are scaring me, so, like, I don't know, like, what to expect. I mean, I had questions of things that need to be taken care of. Like, I don't...
What are your questions?
I have one last question. You realize you're the person that killed him, right?
I thought about that.
Okay, you left him in a bag when he's begging you, saying, I can't breathe, let me out, and you said, F you. And you got up off the couch and went upstairs and left him in that bag.
Not intentionally.
Again,
I would never do that to George.
you did.
Not
It happened.
intentionally. Know that.
I don't.
Know that.
You got up and you went up to bed.
Alcohol is a shitty thing. It's alcohol.
So
Not, again...
the reason that you killed him?
She was sober. She had her wits. Which is it? Alcohol is a convenient scapegoat for her.
You all,
Please sit down.
listen to me.
Please sit down.
You all, listen. I did not intentionally kill him.
So your intention...
I don't know what it is I need to
punish
do
him?
or how to do it or what to say or how to say
She never answered his question.
it.
But what was your intention?
Everyone
Just to
knows.
punish him?
Everyone knows everything that I've done for George and love him and continuously help him throughout his life with me.
What is that? Is that an excuse? Is that I'm great? She feels owed.
And made him a happier, better person.
And everybody has their limits.
Everyone knows that.
Everybody has their limits.
So it's like, okay, so while we're in a good place right now, I'm going to snap? Is that what it, while we're in a good place right now?
You did.
Yes. Absolutely.
He's offering, they keep offering her ways out. They keep offering her ways to provide an excuse or a reason. If something else actually happened, say she was in danger, or say, you know, she was in a position where he did something and she lost it. I'm not saying that'd be okay, because it isn't. She keeps having these opportunities to tell them, but she's decided that her story is going to be unintentional, unintentional, unintentional. Except we see that's not the case. And she's exasperated because they won't believe her. She's going to be shocked when she has to go to court and go to trial, and evidence is going to be presented, and they're not going to let her get away with saying you don't see what's in front of your eyes.
I got you on video screaming, "F you."
This is what it feels like when you're choking me. This is what it feels like.
Which was however long ago.
You said
The
it.
video was from last night.
Clearly,
So it wasn't
still
that,
inside you.
yeah.
there's still feelings towards it.
Revenge.
You wouldn't say it if you didn't feel it,
But I would never do that.
but it happened, and you did.
But you
But
did.
that's after being playful
But no one's
and
laughing.
having a good day.
No one's laughing except you.
Everybody's
I would hate to see
having
a
a good
bad
day.
Oh, so the way to get away with killing someone is to be playful first? Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry?
I would hate to see a bad day.
Y'all are making me out to be a person that I'm not. Or will I ever be.
Or are you a different person when you're drunk?
People have different personalities after.
She doesn't want to face herself. And she hasn't wanted to face herself for a long, long time. I think even before she met Mr. Torres. And so everything's got to be somebody else's fault. And if she can't blame a person, she'll blame alcohol. But she cannot blame herself.
After they consume alcohol.
It depends. If, well,
Because you're sober now, so
Yeah.
sober you.
Nice
Well, what
person,
about drunk
easy
you?
going.
not, it's both of us. It's both of us. And it's not fair that you all are assuming that the marks that he has on him are from me.
We asked you where they came from.
She's doing the detective's job for them. They didn't bring this back up, and at some point they would need to, right? They need to keep going after that. They didn't bring it up. She did.
I have no idea.
Well, nobody else was there, so nobody else was
I
there.
have no idea. I swear.
There's that emphasis again. That's her tell, right? So she's telling you, she knows, she does know.
I did not lay a hand on him.
Okay. You just zipped them in the bag.
Nor he.
You just zipped them in the bag. And then you flipped the bag around several times.
I didn't do that intentionally.
You didn't intentionally flip the bag around?
No. Why would I do that?
Well, you
Good
told us
question,
you
you
did it.
did.
When he was upside down.
Earlier, she said she flipped the bag. And not only that, but the way she said it was like, well, of course, because I turned it over. But now, no, she wouldn't do that. She doesn't want to see herself as a killer or as an abuser. This is not uncommon. And good investigators know that there is a way to capitalize on that. There is a way to use that during an interview to get a confession. They're not set up for a confession here. Not that way, anyway. But they could jump on this. How important it is to her to not be seen in a certain light.
Down.
Right.
Well, you had to put them upside down.
You can't get in a suitcase upside down
Yeah.
because the
Oh my
What,
gosh.
you put the
See,
stuff
and that's
in
the
where his
unfortunate
body was?
That's the unfortunate
Was
thing
upside
too, is
down.
nobody else was there. That's
We
the
have a
unfortunate
video
thing.
showing the suitcase in several different positions. So it shows, one, like she just said, it had to been on its back with the lid open for him to get in there, for you to zip it up. Then it shows it on the other side with him in it, so you had to flip it to there. Then there's another video where it's on his back again, so you had to flip it
I'm
there.
leaving it like this, please. I'm leaving it like this. I did not intentionally do this. No malicious content or effort was towards this. No malicious.
I would
I'm
say
the point of
does
the
that
video.
help you sleep, but you're not.
I think she's trying to use the word malice, no malice. I find that interesting, makes me wonder what she's read and what kind of television she looks at. Unintentional and malice. She's speaking to mental elements of the crime. Man, she should have talked to a lawyer and kept her mouth shut. But for the sake of Mr. Torres's family, it's probably good she didn't. And when she says, I'll leave it here, is she thinking she's going home? I'm just gonna say this thing and leave it at that. Or is she going to invoke her right to remain silent? I can't imagine, just given her personality, I can't imagine her being able to remain silent. I will leave it here for now. To be continued. Thank you for watching.